We're live here. Well, not actually live.
Well, I wonder about that live, Mike.
We're here in Milan, Georgia, 4th of July festivities. Mike Spires, Tim Deep here.
Glad to be with you, Mike. I tell you what, it was unfortunately we weren't able to record the parade because of some technical difficulties beyond our control. But I will tell you, it was a wonderful thing that just came by, man. Had some great stuff.
Yep, nothing like a 4th of July parade as we celebrate the nation's birthday, and wonderful, wonderful day that, Tim, so many times we take for granted what this day means and what we're celebrating. And, I heard discussion during the Braves pregame today, looking back to, I believe it was John Adams said that from that day forward, this day should always be celebrated with pomp and circumstance and with games, and this is part of the Americana.
It is, and Mike, I think there's wonderful things about big cities, don't get me wrong, but just being here in Milan, seeing some old friends and people that we've known in the past to come together and celebrate, and Mike, given, things that have gone on in the country, both good and rough over the course of the last few years, I think it's just wonderful. Everybody puts all their differences aside today, and we're all Americans, and let's just celebrate this wonderful day. And hey, there's nothing like being here in Milan, Georgia on a day like this, man. They got hot dogs, they got food, they got flags, fellowship, people wearing the red, white, and blue, and I mean, it is a wonderful, and listen, the weather has cooperated wonderfully for the fireworks tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about it. In fact, temperature has dropped significantly. We got a nice breeze blowing, and just looking forward to a great evening. As you mentioned, the parade that we had. And,
it was wonderful. Now, Mike, coming up in a few minutes, I know that most of the viewers would probably rather see me and you, but I do know that there is going to be some talent, I believe, and some programs coming up here. So as soon as that comes on in just a few minutes, we'll get the camera person, Patty Deep, to flip it around, and we'll do that. But Mike, a lot of things going on here in the country. One of the traditions of the 4th of July, nothing like a baseball game.
No
and
doubt
I know
about
that there was one this afternoon between our beloved Braves and the Yankees today.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Braves took another loss today, but Tim, I think realistically, if you look at this 10-game road trip, and even a 5-5 road trip, with considering you're going to St. Louis, New York, and Milwaukee,
right,
I think you would say that was a success. And by getting the sweep there in St. Louis, and now with the one victory in New York, pretty much my philosophy is just get one in New York at least.
Exactly. Mike, when they go to Milwaukee, that is going to be a series that I think has kind of been under the radar until recently, because the Brew Crew, man, they're playing some great ball. I mean, they and the Braves, and who would have thought this back in April? Those two are going for the best record in the National League right now.
Yeah, and a huge series, and with the sweep in St. Louis, or the 4-2 record now on this road trip, if you can just split the 4-game series in Milwaukee, you're talking about a 6-4 road trip, and I think you got to be happy with that.
Oh, listen, you talk about fireworks here tonight. A 6-4 road trip on Sunday night would be a reason for us to buy some fireworks and shoot them off too. Because, Mike, when this 10-game road trip started, they were 2-4 at home against Cincinnati and Baltimore, two bottom feeders that we really should have played better against. So you think, oh gosh, you're going to St. Louis, a place that's always given us trouble, always. And to come out with a sweep there, and then of course a win 2 days ago against the Yankees, 4-2. Hey, if you like to say split Milwaukee, that would be great. If you could somehow go 3-1,
it would be huge.
Could you imagine a 7-3 road trip? The pundits are saying this is probably the toughest road trip of the year for the Braves. How do you feel, Mike?
I agree. I mean, it comes at an important stretch here as we get closer to the All-Star break, and one of the points that's been made right now as well. You look at the Braves are playing a very tough schedule, and Philly is about to hit a stretch where they're playing some teams that are below 500. So this is a critical stretch. Could go either way with the East Division race.
It really is. And you think back to the very first series of the year, the Braves and Phillies. And remember the criticism that the Philly manager was getting for the way he did those 3 games. And we're all thinking, I am too especially, hey, Philadelphia's not even going to be in it. So for the Braves and the Phillies to both be fighting for first place at this point in the season, I think all those preseason magazines, if it holds true to form, guys, pitch them out, because everybody was saying it was the Nationals. Yeah. And let's not write the Nationals off yet, Mike. That's a good ball club.
No, but they are struggling, and they take another loss today against the Red Sox. Jacob Mullis.
There you go.
And
absolutely.
Jacob, one of the Telfair County Trojans, members of the Trojan baseball team.
Had
such a successful year.
Great season. No, Mike, like I said, we're waiting here in Milan for, of course, the festivities to continue with some entertainment, but good to always get a little sports talk in when we're able to, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead, Tim. I'll update.
I was going to say, if you take a look, maybe update some of the scores, kind of see what's going on around the league today. And even though this is being recorded, when it's shown in about a day or so, it's pretty well going to, the scores are still the same.
Yeah.
But the standings will probably be pretty similar as we go to Milwaukee, Mike. So what do we got?
Yeah, Philly defeats Baltimore this afternoon 4-1 there in Philadelphia. And as we said, the Washington Nationals take a 3-0 loss to the Boston Red Sox. And, of course, our Atlanta Braves lost 6-2 to the Yankees. Some other scores going around the league. The LA Angels lead the Seattle Mariners 7-4 in the ninth. Houston and Texas just getting underway good. They're in the second. Mets and Blue Jays, no score there in the second. And the White Sox and Reds, no score there also in the second. The Marlins defeat Tampa Bay 3-0 today. And did you see Carlos Gomez go a little bit crazy in the dugout?
No, what happened on that, Mike? I missed it.
He struck out, and Gomez, let's just say, Gomez and the Braves don't have the best.
They don't get a good mix.
Relationship.
There you go.
Thankfully, he's no longer in Milwaukee, so. He kind of, let's just say he did some remodeling in the dugout.
That happens.
After,
they always take it out on the water cooler.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is about that, but, go ahead, Mike.
And the Oakland A's, 4-2 victory. And, the A's have been playing extremely well here lately.
I tell you, Mike, they have that American League West is interesting. I was looking at the standings, and, because I keep mainly with the Braves, and I looked and I saw that the Mariners are getting close as well. I think the Mariners, are they in second place?
They're in second place. That's correct.
We haven't heard from Seattle, as being a relevant team in a long time in Major League Baseball.
No.
I probably couldn't name 2 players on their team.
No, with the A's, they're still way behind in the division as far as the division, but they could potentially move in a wild card. The A's, I think, have one of the classic uniforms of all time.
Over the years they've had, and I haven't seen them lately, but I remember the old green and yellow. Oh my God. Sounds like we got somebody riding by us here for a minute.
Yeah, a lot of activity. We got quite a few people beginning to make their way up here, gathering around the stage.
I was going to say, Mike, we probably have a couple of hundred people already here, and as the night goes on, I've heard some wonderful things about the fireworks here in Milan in the past.
Oh, no doubt about it. One of the best shows around. And Tim, I like what they do around here with kind of spreading out you had Wheeler County and Alamo having theirs last Saturday.
Right.
Telfair County and McRae having theirs on this coming Saturday. So it allows for everybody to attend the events in the different towns.
It really does. We did a podcast just recently with the Telfair Chamber President Paula Anderson, and in talking to her about that, I said, what was the reasoning? And Mike, it's the same thing you said, so that people throughout the county can go to different ones and not have to choose, well, I think I'll go to this one, but I can't go to that one. And so I think that's a wonderful tribute to the Chamber for Telfair, and for the city government. So I'm going to tell you, Mike, I'm very impressed with this here in Milan today.
Yeah. This has become an annual thing now. I'm trying to remember how many years they've been doing this. I want to say it's at least 7 or 8.
Right.
I could be wrong. It could actually have been longer than that, but I know at least 7 or 8 years, and it's grown each year. So.
Oh man, that's fantastic! I tell you what, and the fire department here in town, I'm sure they have a lot of volunteers and people that really do do a lot to get it going, don't they?
No doubt about it. A lot of support here,
and you can tell they're starting to try to get the sound system set up for the entertainment. We probably have about another hour before it gets dark, and then we get into the fireworks and all. I noticed Patty being from here, she's already rounded up a couple of old buddies. It's where she was born and raised, and like we say, this is just a fantastic town. It's always been a wonderful place to be. And Mike, are you familiar with who some of the organizers of this event is? If we could give some of them a shout out.
Well, of course, our mayor, Mr. Jimmy Kirkland, and his wife, Miss Shirley Kirkland, and a lot of other people. The volunteer fire department, of course, heavily involved, as they'll be actually putting on the fireworks show. But we got a lot of people, here. Chad Puckett up there. He's assisting with some of the stuff right now, and all of the city council.
I was going to say, I met one of you, saw one of the city councilmen going through, making sure everything was all right. That's what I say, Mike. It's a community event, and it's a day when we all just kind of celebrate and get together.
Exactly, and of course the Milan Development Authority. I don't know the names, so I'm not going to try to. I don't want to leave anybody out.
But we certainly want to give them credit. And like we say, we apologize for not getting the parade in. We had a few technical difficulties, but we're getting it straight. And hopefully, Mike, as we kind of segue while we're waiting a couple of more minutes on the entertainment, back into sports a little bit before we got here tonight, you and I were talking a little bit about some sour grapes coming from the Midwest. What's going on with Oklahoma? I thought the Rose Bowl was over, and I thought Georgia had won, and here we are in July. And am I correct that the head coach is still, the head coach for Oklahoma is still talking a little bit about it?
Lincoln Riley. We're trying to make sure we have a blank screen here.
That's our best side.
Hopefully that's not going to, maybe we're just on a screensaver here.
There you go. But we'll check it out and see. I'll touch a button, and if it blows it,
Okay, we're still good. So
okay.
Pardon that, folks.
But anyway, Lincoln Riley out of Oklahoma. Mike, what exactly did this, and I'll use the word nicely, this so-called coach, what did he have to say?
Well, he was talking about Big 12 offenses, and he commented that if Georgia played in the Big 12 every week, that they would not be a top 5 defense statistically. I kind of get what he's saying in a way that, SEC defense doesn't see that type of offenses every week.
Right.
But coming from a coach that was just defeated by Georgia in the national semifinal there in the Rose Bowl, and why didn't you just say SEC defenses in general?
Exactly.
Why pick out Georgia?
Exactly.
And so that makes the comments interesting. Had he said SEC defenses in general, then okay. But it seemed like it did seem a direct jab.
One of the things I wonder if he forgot. Number one, it's good defense when you score more points than the other team.
Exactly.
Number two, the other thing, when you put 24 points up on Georgia and Georgia's losing at the end of the first half, and then you make those adjustments that we really did, even though the score may not completely show it, there were some turnovers that we obviously did a great job of adjustments in the second half.
Yeah, I believe, if I remember right, held Oklahoma to 10 points.
Exactly. So I believe they would have come up. I saw a comment that someone, I think, from the Georgia side, not one of the players, I think one of the writers or fans or whatever, said, Oklahoma has a lot to brag about going against Kansas every now and then.
Exactly.
But to Kansas, I'm sure you guys are wonderful and do a great job. I'm not trying to get any bulletin board material.
No, but let's also say it this way: if Oklahoma had to play in the SEC every week, I don't think they would be averaging 40 and 50 points a game either.
There's no way. So it's interesting. Well, Mike, with it getting ready to get started, you think about it. After July 4th, you figure what SEC media days are right around the corner.
About 2 weeks away.
And then when you get through with SEC Media Days, and boom, it's time for practice and preseason football with the Falcons and all that. And then, hey, you're ready to roll.
Yeah, and of course, Georgia fans a little concerned this afternoon. News that Jake Fromm broke his non-throwing hand in an boating accident, but I think that's much ado about anything. They say that he's going to be fine and he'll be ready when fall camp rolls around. So.
And Mike, I heard that Justin Fields has been working out with a particular celebrity and a good quarterback, Deshaun Watson, I believe. Am I correct in reading that today?
And picking a good person to work out with, no doubt. So.
I mean, so to be able to do, I guess Deshaun obviously is rehabbing too from that bad knee injury last year with the Texans, but you also look at it too, you know, some of what he experienced in college and this Justin is a freshman. Mike, I know there's no quarterback controversy, but I mean, there's got to be Jake Fromm's team, but are there going to be some packages you think that they're going to work Justin in this year?
I think you're going to see he's too good a talent not to see the field. So I stand by what we said in one of our early podcasts that I do believe Justin Fields will play, and there'll be spots where they work him in. And you know, if Jake's hand is an issue, I don't think it will be, but you know, that means more reps in practice for Justin Fields.
Absolutely. No, if Jake comes in with any kind of hand problems, I know the coaching staff would be careful. If it's lingering, which I doubt it will be, but if it's lingering, do you go under center or go more shotgun and something like that?
Well, you know, more and more now teams are less and less under center.
Yeah.
Even Georgia has migrated from that some. So, you know, that can go either way. I mean, because you still got to catch the ball out of the shotgun.
Absolutely. So. Mike, some players offensively or defensively to watch as we get ready for fall practice and again after SEC Media Days. In particular, who do you think will be some of the key players that we need to look at for Georgia this year? Well, there's a number on both offense and defense.
You know, I think there's a guy that was talked about here recently to keep an eye on in the defensive secondary, J.R. Reed.
Right.
I think he is a very underrated player. We saw last year his abilities out there, and I think with the graduation of Dominic Sanders, that J.R. is going to take off and really be a key role. And of course, Richard LeCount.
Right.
That's a young man that looked for a lot of playing time, and so Tyler Clark, a name on the defensive line that I think you're going to see. We're going to start hearing from out him. Of. And,
absolutely.
You know, some new faces in that linebacker core this year, and I think Monty Rice is a guy that you're going to really want to watch. He look for with Roquan Smith with the Chicago Bears. I think Monty has a chance to step in there and really step up.
Well, Mike, how does Georgia compensate this year for the loss of Chubbs and Michelle? I mean, are we still loaded at running back?
Yeah, I mean, you got DeAndre Swift, of course, Zamir White, the young man that's coming in, one of the top running backs in the country, who battling a knee injury, and so they're going to bring him along gradually. But by all accounts, he's already been pretty much medically cleared.
Right.
But you just got to see how he handles contact. And then of course you've got Elijah Holyfield coming back.
That's exactly what I thought. Boy, the pictures of him. He's been working out, hasn't he, Mike?
Yeah, no doubt. And a young man that probably could start for a lot of teams is Brian Harrion.
Exactly.
And then you got James Cook, of course, the younger brother of former Florida State running back Dalvin Cook, who will be in Athens as well. So the Bulldogs are going to be just fine at running back, and with this offensive line that is just set to blow the doors off people, I think, with the depth there now.
Exactly.
I mean, we could have some freshmen actually starting on that offensive line.
Boy, that would be incredible. Mike, listen, why don't we take a short break? It looks like they're getting ready to get the flag up and to get things going, and then in a few minutes we'll have some entertainment for everybody.
Yep. So this is Deep Productions broadcast of the 4th of July events in Milan, Georgia. I'm Mike Spires, along with Tim D.
I'm Mike Spires. There you go.
And we have TJ D.
There you go. Hey, we'll be back with you in just a couple of minutes.
TJ's just chilling.
Let me go see who that was, Mike. I'm sorry.
Welcome all y'all to Milan, and be sure the day you get home, think about your veterans we got around the world today, and say a prayer for them. The reason we're here, because we're fighting for us, help us stay here. So, talk about your veterans and your military people. Say a little prayer for them, please. At this time, if you please work with me, talk with me, and pray with me, we're going to talk about the National Anthem. If you help me. We're going to do the pledge, excuse me. We're going to do the pledge and National Anthem, excuse me. Yep. We're going to do the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all. Now we're going to do the pledge. Now, come on.
And singing our national anthem is Morgan Brantley.
Can you see by the dawn's early light, once so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, a great job with our national anthem by Miss Morgan Brantley.
We want to say once again, it is so good to see everyone come out on this 4th of July day to celebrate. It is my honor to introduce our speaker, and I am blessed. He is our pastor, Brother Statum, and we have a Sister Pam, and they are the pastor of the Milan Church of God, and God has blessed us with a great minister, First Lady of the Church of God. They are been a blessing to Milan. We want everyone to just, as you get to know Brother Steve, as he comes this time, I believe he is one of the greatest ministers the Church of God has in South Georgia. As he comes tonight, Brother Steve.
I appreciate the invitation to be a part of this privilege. One of the things I make sure that I wouldn't do is get you out on an evening like this and captivate you by using long words, preaching for a long period of time. I want to read a simple scripture to you. 2 Timothy 1:7, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and of a sound mind. The reason I chose that is all around this nation today, there are men and women that are praying and thanking God for the liberties that we have. But there's a lot of our friends that have gone by cemeteries today to pay homage to someone that died in a war on a foreign land. Perhaps someone that died even on our own soil. Tonight, while you and I are sleeping in our comfortable beds and enjoying our fellowship in the fireworks show, we have soldiers all over the world that are digging into foxholes, sleeping in tents, in deplorable situations, so that you and I can be free. I'm honored today to be a part of the greatest nation in the world. There are things about it that trouble me and the way that I see things going. And I'm telling you, the freedom that you and I have, and the liberties expressed to us, and the liberties that we can share with our friends and family, I wouldn't trade them for anything. I want to say to you today in this short time before I pray that I'm glad today that Jesus Christ saved me. It's not about me being a preacher or anything else like that. Jesus Christ saved me. And I am in his debt. He owes me nothing. And I'm worried today about what we have labeled as millennials. So many people today that wake up in the morning feeling like the United States owes them something. And I just want to quote a president from the past that simply said, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. Christians, I would say to you the same thing. Don't only ask God what he can do for you every day. Get up in the morning and tell Jesus Christ what a privilege it is that he gives you breath. If you're like me, you have aches and pains, and the older I get, I turned 61 last week, and I didn't realize 61 was so old if I got there. I plan on living a long time, and if I have to limp, I have to hurt and walk slower, then that's what I'm going to do. But every day of my life, I'm going to give thanks to Jesus Christ. I also want to tell Terry and the Milan Church of God, unless I preach them for accepting me. I love them dearly, and they have made it easy for him and I to come and be a part of this community. If you would you bow your heads tonight? And let's just say a prayer together. Father, I come to you tonight in the name of Jesus Christ, thanking you for the privilege to lift your name. Thank you among all the people standing before me. There are people here that serve you and love you and live for you. Father, if there's one person in this place, out in these yards, that doesn't know you, perhaps we can find something to say or do that will lead them towards you. Then the fireworks show and the festivities keep everybody safe. Let us enjoy a good time of fellowship and laughter. But don't ever let us forget that your Son Jesus Christ died for us. And where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty. And everybody said amen.
Amen.
All right, Miss Morgan Brantley appears gonna.
Okay, well, she did a marvelous job with that National
Very
Anthem.
talented young lady, a student over at Bruton Parker, and was our minister of music here for a while. She has.
Looks like she's going to perform again.
Yep. So looking forward to hearing from her.
Well, she's sitting all right by dawn through the night. Well, she looked a little way to me. She tried to pretend he wasn't drinking again. That he left the people on her shoe. I was only 8 years old that summer. I always seemed to be the lead. So I took myself down there and there. All the night.
Come on.